Okay, everyone, welcome back to another episode here of the Celtics Talk Weekly, another special episode here at Celtics Talk Weekly. I'm your host, once again, David Caires. I've been hosting a lot of these shows. I feel like I'm playing all 48 minutes in a playoff game with all this hosting I've been doing. Alongside my two co-hosts are Seamus Zarlingo, and we got Griffin Aldrich in the top corner. We have a very special guest again today. This is our third straight video we're recording with a member of the opposition. We have had a few reporters on, and now we have the host of the Balls in Our Court podcast, Cortez Paul. Cortez, how are you doing today? Thanks for coming on.
How y'all doing, gentlemen? Doing fantastic. Wish I could have still gained one from you guys, but hey, at the end of the day, you guys are the champs for a reason. So to beat the best, you got to go through the best. So
game 2, it's on the horizon. I mean, there's definitely still a chance to steal one in Boston. I'll say that.
Yeah, can I say too? I love your podcast name. I love
awesome, man. Thank you. I have been doing podcasts, 8 years. Funny enough, I started when I lived in Boston. Believe it or not, guys, I lived in Boston for 2 years. So I lived in Framingham, know the area very well. Chicken Bones is one of my favorite places over there. The Angry Ham is one of my favorite bars to go to. So I got a lot of Boston ties, man. I got friends I'm texting back and forth. They're talking junk right now, but it's all love and respect. So Boston's got a second place in my heart, man, for sure.
Appreciate the kudos there. So first question, we're going to start with some more personal questions here, but how did you get into basketball?
Fan, I'm 8 years old, man. Believe it or not, I'm about to hit 40 in July. So just been a big fan growing up. Kind of got me into it is the Shaq and Penny days. So just growing up and seeing the Magic just those two taking the lead by storm. And then, you got Dennis Scott, just all those guys there. And then, I definitely fell in love because I'm from Auburndale, Florida, Winter Haven, Florida, where Tracy McGrady went to Auburndale High School a couple years older than I am. And so once you got to play for the Orlando Magic, there's a little bit of pride having someone that's in your city that plays for your team. So just continue to be a Magic fan, season ticket holder. I got a bucket list. I'm trying to go to all NBA arenas. So right now I'm at 9. So I've been to the Garden a few times. The Garden is dope. People are always dope there. Love y'all squad. So that's why I just kind of respect you guys and have a good banter between the Celtics and the Magic fans for sure.
Appreciate the kudos there. How long have you been a season ticket holder for the Magic?
So going on my second year as a full-blown season ticket holder. They did all these partial plans that I've been doing for like 5 years before that. They had a real deal going on trying to get fans into the arena, what was called Fast Rate Pass. So you pay $49 a month, and they give you 5 random games, and it's random seating. So sometimes I can be sitting like in the club section, or sometimes I'll be sitting in the nosebleeds, depending who they're playing. So yeah, just a big all fan around. Go to a lot of their events. Met some of the players. Jalen Suggs is awesome. Chopped it up with him, and he's just a fantastic guy. Met the Wagner brothers. They're awesome. So yeah, man, you just interact with some of these players, and it's just bigger than basketball sometimes, and it's a passion that all 4 of us love, and we just enjoy it, man.
You have any funny stories from interactions with players that you can tell us?
Funny enough, I ran to Evan Fournier at a bar downtown.
Hey, former Celtic too. Former Celtic.
Yeah, former Celtic, absolutely. And so, he's
Oh no. We're gonna cliffhanger with the Evan Fournier story. I will say that
is a cliffhanger.
Was
number 94.
Number 94. Well, some background on Evan Fournier, real quick, before we get the connection back. I don't know if we'll have to cut this part out or not, but maybe this background will save it. 94. Evan Fournier wore it for the Denver Nuggets and the Boston Celtics, and that is because Evan Fournier is from the department in France. Like, we have states in the United States and provinces in Canada. Well, France, they have departments, right? And he's from the 94th department of France, so therefore he wears 94. Do we have Cortez back in here? Is he okay? All right, we're good to go. We got a little internet connection issue there, but I believe you were talking about Evan Fournier. I was just going off on a tangent of why he wore 94 in Boston and Denver, but obviously in Orlando he wore 10, and you have a story on him from there.
Yeah, so literally just walked past them, and I had a little bit of Tito's to drink in my cup, so get excited. So I'm like, more champagne, because that was his nickname down here. He just kind of grinned and dapped it up and took a video with me and all that. So he's super friendly. So that's one of my crazy stories. I just kind of ran into them guys. Dwight Howard and Hito Turkoglu, Rashard Lewis, always hung out at Dragon Room that was in Orlando. My buddy was a bouncer there. So all the time I kind of like just was fanboying it, just say, oh my God, it's Dwight Howard, so they just like, okay, just go away, fan. Like, I'm a big Magic fan. And my boy's like, don't get me in trouble, man. Like, I'm sorry, man. So run to those guys a few times in bar club scenes, and they just kind of just enjoy themselves. They're not doing anything crazy. They have their little bar that they go drink at and chill, but I run to those guys all the time. And then, of course, when you see them at events, of course, they're in the public eye, so they just got to act different. And it's just fun seeing the human being outside of basketball, outside of their interests. And so just interactions with some of the Magic players is, for my most part, has been fun and interesting. So,
how big is the basketball scene down in Orlando? And is it, before you answer that, I guess, do you feel it was bigger back in the day, or do you think it's still pretty consistent now? Like, is there a lot of buzz about the Magic down where you're at in the Orlando area?
It has been over the past couple of years, but I can tell you, with the injuries, Orlando's got like a lot of fair weather fans. So as soon as they start winning, they hop on. Now I interact with a whole bunch of Magic fans that are hardcore Magic fans, and there's some times, and I never experienced this when I lived in Boston. You go to a bar in Boston, guess what? Guess what's going to be on the TV screen? A Celtics game, a Bruins game, a Red Sox game. No questions asked. For a Magic game, you got to ask for it to be on certain bars. And that's a problem. And I don't know, it's just because since Dwight left, we had Nick Vucevic, and that team didn't really – the guys had 2 playoff appearances, but not a lot of buzz around them. And you got this stud in Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner, and you'd think it'll pick up a little bit more. And it has. But it's just taking a little bit of time for fans to buy into it. So the buzz is kind of like lukewarm when it comes to the Magic down here.
Why do you feel that's the case in Orlando? Is it the weather? Is it just the community who lives there alone? Why do the Magic not seem to draw the interest that other NBA markets do? We've heard LeBron talk about, I'll never play with the Orlando Magic. I'll never play in Orlando. But why do you believe that sentiment exists for the place that houses Disney World?
Yeah, that's it, man. It's a lot of places that people come to Orlando, come visit. People forget sometimes there's a basketball team here, and it's really just more about winning, because when Shaq and Penny was here, everybody knew the Magic. Everybody was Magic fans. I decided to stay. When Shaq left, and a lot of people followed Shaq when he went to the Lakers. This is my hometown team, so I'm gonna stay with him regardless. I am truly a hardcore fan of the Magic, man. And I just feel like with the narrative of that, and people are moving down here in record numbers. Like, I'm sure, I don't know last time I'm in Orlando, but traffic is horrendous. And it's really due to just, as I tell you, it's funny when I tell somebody I'm actually from Florida, they look at me like I'm an alien. Like, that's not possible. I'm actually from here. I was born and raised here. A lot of these areas that used to be commercial buildings, there are commercial buildings now, used to be orange groves. Used to ride 4-wheels through these places. And now there's buildings everywhere because there's just a bunch of people that's moving down here. And those people have ties to their teams already. So you really got to latch into the casual fan to convert them to be Magic fans. And there's a few that have really came from somewhere else. I know someone that's from New Jersey. The Nets moved to Brooklyn. Well, he became a Magic fan. And that's kind of how we get a lot of our Magic fans. They used to be fans of certain teams or certain players, and they're just ride out with the Magic now.
Can I say too? I wanted to say, I as an NBA fan, I'm a diehard Boston Celtics fan. But if I looked at an NBA perspective, I would say the Magic are up there, just because I feel like the jerseys are cool with the blue and stuff. And you're from Florida, and obviously us as Celtics fans, I think we'd ride with the Magic over the Heat any day. So just saying that. But
until the Magic are competitive, Griffin,
you're
I'm
right.
telling you, when the Magic come up in a conference final series or a semifinal series, or if they win game 2, Griffin, it's like
I'm taking that back. I know. I say this. So we're big on the Orlando Magic song. We like that. There's like a Celtics remix. And I said, I'm not even thinking about that song until the series is over. I don't even want to discuss that stupid song. I'm saying it right now.
Whoa.
Listen, I'm not mentioning the song. I'm not thinking about the song. Nope. That song doesn't exist. But to add on to your point too, I wanted to say I feel like at the bars not having the games on and just asking to have those games on, that's a problem right there. I mean, that's why it's dying essentially, and not having like so many fans from Orlando, because if you have to ask to put on a game, then that's how it attracts a lot of fans. A lot of fans, I don't know because I don't go to bars because I'm underage, but a lot of people will sit there. I've seen from working in restaurants, will sit there and watch the game and be like, okay, I like this team. I like how they're playing. So I think that could yet alone be an issue for sure.
Yeah, and the engagement around the franchise been better. Like they're engaging them, and they're doing all these watch parties. Like we just had a watch party for the Celtics. I don't know if y'all saw my video about going off on Anthony Black, where he should be guarding Peyton Pritchard. That's the guy I want him. But it was a bunch of us that links up together. It's a good friend group that we have among what we call Magic Twitter, and we go out together and really try to grow the bond. So it's really just a lot of us with the Sis Man Show, Orlando Magic HQ, and some of these other podcasts that are stepping in for Orlando is really trying to push their brand. My podcast is a little bit different because I do a little bit of sports.
Oh, I think there was an internet connection again.
We need new internet lines in Florida. I'll say that right now. We're good. We're back. We're good.
Yeah, I think my connections are good. I don't know why it's acting up here. I'm sorry, guys.
No worries.
No, we're totally fine. I mean, that's a normal thing on the program. We had a post-game show earlier this year where I was at least 5 seconds delayed as the host. So we deal with these things.
Okay, for sure. I definitely got 300 megabits of internet speed, so I think I'm good. But let me know if anything happens. We got this. We good.
We should be good now.
Could I add on to something really quick? I think I'm saying this too, back to that stupid Orlando Magic song. I'm saying it's stupid right now because we're faced off against you. That's the only reason I'm saying it's stupid. But I think their fan engagement has been so good with TikTok and everything. And I think that's what's made the Magic kind of kick back up into speed, especially from fan perspective. That stupid song, that wiener dog that's dancing with it and all the stuff they make, that's how they get their fans right there. I'm just saying it.
There it is, man. Play the song, man. They do all these different clips.
No, we're not playing the song this series. We're not playing. You guys can play it next year, in regular season, but I'm all set for, I'm all set.
Definitely, they do a heck of a job on social media, like to Griffin's point with the Magic. I get it. As long as it's not against the Celtics, I get a huge chuckle out of what they're doing. I wanted to shift gears here just to the series going on right now. So how are you feeling as a Magic fan after game one?
I loved when we came back and fight, and when we go into halftime, we was up by one, so I felt pretty confident. But I feel like Orlando left a lot of points on the board. They got a lot of offensive rebounds, and really second chance points didn't take advantage of that. Orlando's length has been a problem for a lot of teams, including the Celtics. So we just have to make sure that you guys can get hot at any time. We got to stay home with your shooters. Orlando is really good at guarding the three-point line, but Orlando notorious has been bad for third quarters. If you saw the play-in game when we played the Hawks, the Hawks got back within 3. At one point, we was up by double digits. So it's not any secret that how bad we are in third quarter. So if you guys if we're up some point in third quarters, we all say, here come the third quarter blues. What we're going to do to mess this game up. And then for some odd reason, fourth quarter, they try to come out strong and do what they can do. Too much firepower with Derek White and Peyton Pritchard just killed us, man. I felt like when we had Tatum and Brown, they wasn't going off like they usually do. I probably would have just tried to stay home with some of the shooters because once you kind of blitz Tatum and Brown a little bit, Peyton Pritchard, sorry, eating us alive, and then Derek White. My good Lord, man, I have nightmares of that guy right now. He just tore us apart. But y'all did y'all thing, man, for sure. What I think for sure for first one, We at home. Boston's a tough place to play. I did say this, though. I did want to play Boston because, if you guys know, Orlando need the exposure. There was some kind of poll that came out on Twitter like about a week, 2 weeks ago, asking who would they start a franchise with. And this was out of Amen Thompson and Paolo Banchero and had certain other players too. But a lot of people had Amen and Cade over Paolo. And that's just because he don't have that much exposure as these other guys. And Cade has really been kind of jumped his team up with 30 wins. So, of course, he's the hot name right now. But it's like Paolo needs the exposure because it's like, man, I really don't watch this guy play. He really just had dropped 30 points against the fifth best defense in the league, man. And I feel like nobody's really talking about it except Celtics and Magic fans.
You know who needs Paolo Banchero right now, to your point? The Houston Rockets with Amen Thompson. Now, I mean, if you look at that team, it's like they need a bucket getter like Paolo Banchero. But you're talking about the Celtics there. You're talking about some of the Celtics weapons, getting after the Magic in game one. And obviously the Celtics have a lot of weapons, and the most notable ones at the top, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But just looking at the entire Celtics roster, who stands out as the most pesky player when it comes to a Celtics versus Magic game? Every time the Celtics come to town, who are you most looking at as the player, not necessarily the stars, say Tatum or Brown, but outside of them, who is a player you're looking at where you're going, ooh, I really hope that player doesn't destroy us tonight?
Oh, it's Drew Holiday. At one point, he had held Paolo Banchero to over 4 from shooting. And he's got enough size where he's physical enough to play with Paolo. And then guess what? If Paolo goes off, doesn't go off, and Franz goes off, put him on Franz. He's just really a disruptive player. I know y'all got choices to make with y'all salary cap that's coming up. Drew Holiday needs to stay. He's that much of an impact player. For where y'all got him for penny on the change is impressive, man. So, but every time I see Drew Holiday, I feel like he does that one big play, either defensively, he finds the correct shot, he plays within the system. So Drew Holiday is pretty much an impact player. My S factor in this series that if it's hard to guard Paolo, and Paolo's going to have to find a way to over-physic him and put him in the paint a little bit, but Drew is very sneaky enough to kind of pick the ball out and know when to kind of gamble and know who's on his left or right side for him in case they blitz Paolo.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Drew.
my bad.
No, well, I was just going to say, I mean, you talk about Drew being sort of an X factor for the Celtics, but from the Magic's perspective, who is that X factor for the Magic in this series?
It's got to be Anthony Black. I know this is his first real true playoff series. He's got the length to bother Peyton Pritchard or Derek White with his length. He's got to hit those timely corner threes. He's not the best three-point shooter, but he shoots better from the corner than he does from the top of the key. So with him, because y'all can bother Cole Anthony, and Cole Anthony, he's got to score to be effective. And we need him, but at point in time, y'all can hunt him on defense too. So it's got to be a guard, man. Kojo, Corey Joseph, as great he's done to push the pace near the end of the season. And a lot of our Magic fans was on the board like, man, see, we need a guard like that. We need Kojo to start. In the series against the Celtics got enough size to kind of slow Kojo down. So that's not going to be a problem. So it's got to be a guard. It's got to be between him and Contavious Caldwell-Pope.
So I kind of want to ask a question too. So I actually was defending the Magic today. I know we're in a series with them, but I was defending them. I was saying that and I've been talking about this even after the post-game show last game, is that this is a series that could totally be aggressive like the Pacers series last year with the Celtics. I mean, this is a series where I feel like obviously we could break down the games and stuff. There were times in regular season when we didn't have players, you guys didn't have players. But I think this is a team like in the Magic where you guys are a good matchup against us. And I think the Boston Celtics win in 4 or 5, but I think they're close games. And I got into it with someone because he's like, oh, they only have 2 good players. And I don't think that's true. But this could cause like a little argument back and forth between us, which would be fun. But if you had to say, do you think the Magic have a real shot in this series? Do you think, and what do you think the series is going to go to? Or would you say, hey, if this went to a 5 or 6 game series, I would still be happy at the end of the day because it got our name out there? What's your perspective on that? So
I've been saying that it's going to go 6. Celtics going to win in 6. And the reason I say Celtics going to win in 6, I feel like that Orlando's got enough length to kind of really bother you guys. Me I say it's a different series. We have Mo and Suggs. Like, we just match up well. For some odd reason, this OKC Thunder and the Orlando Magic match up well with you guys. They've got enough length to kind of bar you. They got the defense, but we just don't have the shooting like OKC done. I mean, our shooting is – I ain't got to give you numbers, man. We're horrendous with shooting. But as far as, like, whenever Paulo can get downhill, and I feel like we didn't get to the free throw lines much, too, in game one. But me personally, it probably if it goes similar to the way game one does, this is probably over in 5. If Orlando can go ahead and actually they made 11 threes, 10 threes. If they make around 15 to 16, which is hard to ask for the Magic, if they do that, it's a ball game. But that's a big ask for them. So that's why I say, I know, like I said, it was a lot of talk that Orlando or Boston kind of met Orlando style. Orlando's got to have it like those scoring game, because if y'all go 115, 120, we don't have the firepower to meet up with that.
And from your perspective, where did the Orlando Magic exactly lose game one of this series?
When Tatum and Brown was on the drives, they kind of hedged on the drives, and Derek White was just wide open on these threes. Peyton Pritchard has some tough buckets as well, too. Peyton Pritchard, as you guys are probably going to say, he definitely deserves 6th man of the year. Him, Malik Beasley, and all those. It's going to be probably between those two. Those two deserve their flowers for being 6th man of the year. But to me, man, you just can't give up wide open shots, and you got to rebound the ball very well, which Orlando is they're top 2 in defensive rebound percentage. They got to grab these boards, and they got to do something with the offensive rebounds and get these second chance points. Muck the game up a little bit, let it be ugly. You know, I know Tatum is ailing a little bit with the wrist. Jaylen Brown's got a little bit of a knee. Peyton Pritchard got banged up a little bit too. So it's really Orlando's physical. They're a physical basketball team. That's why a lot of people, I don't know what it is with the Magic. The Magic get this bad rep. I don't think they're dirty at all. They just play physical. And it's going to be a dog fight. But if it's, like you said, if it's like the similar it was in game one where that game 3-quarter happened, where we blitz you guys and we leave you wide open on the 3-point line, yeah, it's barbecue chicken, man.
So I want to bring it back to what you said a few minutes ago, because I found this interesting, where we asked, we had a reporter on this morning for the Magic. We interviewed Philip Rossman-Reich, and
he's awesome.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. I can't wait for that to get up as well. And he had said similarly to you that he wanted us to face the Magic to face the Celtics for just exposure, because it seems like, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like the consensus in the Orlando Magic community is if we can get this series to 6, that's a huge win for us. But the even bigger victory is having exposure for Banchero and Wagner against the defending champions. So do you think that's sort of like an underrated thing for these guys where, yeah, they may not walk out of here with a series victory, but they'll get that exposure like a Tatum did facing LeBron in his rookie year? Do you think that could just be so crucial for Banchero and Wagner and all the guys on the Magic moving forward in their development?
I do, man. I feel like Orlando, for some odd reason, man, Apollo doesn't get taught as much as he is for a number 1 draft pick, that he plays the game a certain way. He plays the old school style way. His shooting can be a little bit better. His free throws can be a little bit better. But this is a team. Y'all ball coach even say it. This is not a 7 seed. Orlando is not a 7 seed. They dealt with numerous injuries. We still are missing 2 of our core players. And Paulo and Franz, which weird, they had the same injury in the same season. Who heard of that? Like a right oblique tear? Like, they both had the same injury. You never heard of that. But Orlando started out at least top 4. But I just think with the exposure with Boston, we already know this is the defending champions. Our game's going to be on ABC and TNT. We play against the Cavs, our games will be on Tubi. Like, it's just like we was on NBA TV last year. Yeah, for free. Exactly. Like, I mean, there's a NBA playoff game that's going to be on ESPNU. I guarantee Orlando would have played somebody like the Cavs. We would have been on ESPNU. So for Paulo and Franz to get this exposure, Jamal Mosley to get this exposure, some of these other players, what they're going to do with their careers, get their exposure. And having a vet like KCP that's been there and saying, "Hey, this is a hostile environment." I've been to the Garden a few times. It's a rough place to play in. It gets loud in there. But they need this. They need to learn the adversity, how to pretty much gear up against a championship contending team. If this is a route that Orlando wants to go with these stars, and we got to build around them correctly, because as a small market team, I have known the pain too much of losing some of these stars. But we have to put him, Paolo, and Franz in the magnitude and make sure that we grow their brand. And that way we get some of these players that want to come play with these two talented wings.
Now, talking about the development of Banchero and Franz Wagner, and centering on Franz Wagner specifically, what does Wagner need to do in order to reach that next level of stardom? We've talked about Banchero here a little bit, but Wagner, he seems to be that almost Jaylen Brown of the Orlando Magic, where, all the talk's on Banchero, but you still have a second star there in Franz Wagner still developing alongside Banchero as well. And he's been in the league longer than Banchero. But what are Magic's fans, what is their perspective on Franz Wagner and his progression within his development? And what does he need to improve within his game in order to reach that next level of stardom?
Among Magic Twitter, there's a misreaction around Franz, especially in the postseason, and I don't know why. You just don't find 6'10" forwards on trees like that to handle the ball the way they do. And Cape Franz is a fantastic finisher. He know how to make tough buckets, layup. He free throw shooting is pretty good. Franz mid-range game and outside game's got to improve for us to make a little bit more of a step. He's got the right form, but there's at times you have a little hitch in his shot. But he's got to be able to shoot that mid-range. He's got to be able to shoot the three ball better. And he challenged himself to be rebounders too. Like, for our forwards to be 6'10" and not rebound the ball well as they should, they just got to rebound the ball better. Like, even for Paulo case, he made it that his mom called him out about rebounding the ball better. That go for Franz as well. But we got a nickname that we call Franz and Paulo. Yeah, I don't know if Philip told y'all this, but we call him Boogie and the Beast.
Okay, I think I read that on one of we had another guest, Ryan Kaminsky, on yesterday. I think I read that on one of his articles, the Boogie and the Beast.
Yep. The Boogie and the Beast. Yeah, so the Boogie and the Beast. So but Boogie is still a talented player. A lot of criticism came his way after the game 7 against Cleveland, and then we paid him the money. But at some point, you got a talent like that, and I know some media question about the pay. Orlando's got to pay these guys. Those are our two stars. We got to work with them. We got to ride or die with them for 8 years. And so within the 8 years, we got to build around them to see if they're going to stay and we can do something with them. But it's on Orlando management to make sure that they build around these guys. And Franz is an integral part of what he does. And Franz is a fantastic defender, by the way, to you guys. I'm pretty sure you guys know. Franz, he was guarding Trae Young in the play-in game. He can guard positions pretty much 1 through 4. He's an excellent ball player, but what's holding him back is his mid-range and his long-range shooting.
So a question I have to ask. Again, I was talking to someone in my class today for sports management, and he says a healthy Magic team could be 3 in the Eastern Conference for sure. And you already mentioned that, maybe 3 or 4. But a question I have to ask is, if we talk about ifs and buts, but this is an if and but question. If the Magic were healthy, what does this series go to? A healthy Magic team, what does this series go to?
I do feel like it will go 7 games. And Orlando at one point was the 4th seed. And there's a few Celtics fans that is season ticket holders for the Magic say, like, dude, Orlando matches up well with him. And I feel like even there's a guy named Rob, he's a Celtics fan. He's like, this should be the Eastern Conference matchup. I feel like we gonna match up over Cleveland, and so it's been fun to see how that would have went. But just Mo Wagner is y'all had Mo for here a little bit.
Yeah, former Celtic.
Yeah, former Celtic.
We waived him for Jabari Parker. It's like sometimes the stories in people's NBA careers, might have not been the right move at the time.
Yeah, but
Parker, Celtics legend, I have to say. Celtics legend.
Yeah,
got some good moments and jerseys and whatnot, but I think Mo Wagner, it's like I would take the 12 points a game right now from a center.
Absolutely, and I think with the Magic too, we're trying to model what you guys do. I mean, if you don't see it, And I know Celtics fans don't want to admit it, or some don't want to admit it, but we're trying to follow the model that you guys do. We got 2 talented wings. We got a big man that can spread the floor. Not as good as Chris Stapp, but we're trying to mimic what that big man does. We got a Derek White player and Jalen Suggs, that type of player that's a defensive first. And we just need some more shooting. So there's some proof in the pudding that we're trying to mimic what you guys are doing, not to the success that you guys are doing it, but this type of players that we're trying to get is similar to Boston. And we're just trying to follow that formula because, I mean, obviously it worked in one of you guys a title.
Yeah, and you talk about, mimicking Boston, and obviously it entails changing up the roster a little bit, potentially this offseason for the Magic. What moves do you see on the horizon for the Magic to make? What kind of player do the Magic need to add to their roster this summer? And is it going to be a big splash move, or is it going to be moves within the margins that bring this Magic team to the top?
Jeff Weltman, our GM, has been very frugal in the way he spent and how he built his team around. So I wouldn't think it's a big splash, but I do think he does pick some pieces up. We do have 4 draft picks that we can use. Me personally, how I would attack it is that I will probably trade a couple of those picks and try to draft a veteran shooter like somewhere and have him on a rookie scale contract because we got to pay Paulo here in the offseason as well. So this cap room that we have ain't going to last forever. He did lock some of these contracts that are short term. Like we got Gary Harris that's pretty much on a team option. So he doesn't really do long contracts. So just because he had that flexibility where he can make the moves. But to me, we just got to find that dynamic player. I know Anthony Simon's been linked to us. Malik Monk's been linked to us. Kobe White has been linked to us as well. It's just really – here's the thing. Everybody and their mothers and their cousins and their aunties know that Orlando needs shooting. So guess what that price is going to be when we try to talk to some of these teams? That price is going to be up. So Jeff Weltman knows that, and we're just trying to methodically figure out how we can do it. But it's got to be this offseason. It can't be here. It's not the right move and all that. At some point, you have to take a gamble because Paulo's ready now. Franz is still developing his game. He's ready now. We got to put some talent around these guys while they're elevating to their prime here. And so the offseason is going to be a fun one for Orlando. That's why I say it's a big series. And to me, I already said the Celtics going to win in 6. If we get it to 6, to me, I'm considering that as a win. I'm like, this is fantastic. Like, we took the Celtics, the defending champions, to 6. Fantastic. If it's a sweep, obviously we know we need to build around because as you saw in the third quarter, shooting just took y'all to a whole nother level. So we need to be able to match that.
And what do you think of names such as LaMelo Ball and Trae Young? Those have been 2 names that have been thrown around as potential point guards the Magic could go out and get this summer. Obviously, they would both come with high price tags, as you're talking about with the shooting. But if you were to go out and get another star player, that would obviously be pricey as well. But from your perspective and just gauging the perspective of the Orlando fan base, what do people think about potentially acquiring one of those 2 names, either Trae Young or LaMelo Ball?
To acquire one of those names?
Or even Ja Morant. We'll throw him out there too, Ja Morant. Any of those names.
For sure. In my opinion, to acquire one of those names, Jalen Suggs going to have to be a part of that deal. And a lot of Magic fans are 50-50 on that. One, Jalen can't stay healthy. He's been having health issues for the whole tenure of his career. He just doesn't stay healthy. But when he does play, he's a very impactful player. So it's really just going to depend is it the time to move Suggs or not? And so that's a tough decision.
Would Magic fans be welcoming of a transaction like that, or would they be just completely against it? I know you're saying they're kind of on the fence about it, but if it were to actually happen, would that be a welcome sight, or would that be more like a move? We've seen moves in the past where teams, fan bases, they acquire a player, say like the Kings, they trade away De'Aaron Fox, they get back Zach LaVine, and it's like, all right, what are we doing with Zach LaVine? Would it be seen as like, oh, what are we doing with Trae Young or LaMelo Ball, or would it be a welcome move from the standpoint of, oh, we can compete with these guys?
Orlando's seen teams like Phoenix, where it was in the NBA Finals a few years ago, and they make these win-now moves, so it's kind of scary from my perspective that
perfect example, by the way. Phoenix, Bradley Beal. Like everybody knew that deal when that went down. I was like, oof, that one's going to be rough.
Yeah, so now they're breaking it down. They done fired their coach for a third time in 3 years. So, I mean, Matt Ishba is paying all these coaches on this salary, man. This is ridiculous. So, the thing I'm really trying to avoid is because Orlando GM and front office has been big on saying, hey, we just got to stay the course. We want to make sure we're not skipping any steps. We want to make sure we stay a competitive basketball team. And we're just not going to try to make a Band-Aid move. As talented as Trae Young, Ja Morant, LaMelo Ball, all these guys are very talented, but they come with a cost. And it's really, if you really feel like that's the piece to get you there, make that chance. But I'm telling you, I feel like Suggs, they're going to want a piece of Suggs or Anthony Black. One of those guys can be a part of that deal. And we got access to do it. We do it. We do have it. But do we make that jump now, knowing that our 2 stars was missing part of the season? So I don't know to make up what's last year. This is the question I asked myself, and I'm pretty sure even as fans outside looking in, you guys can ask yourself this question. The year before, did Orlando overachieve? I can't answer that question, me personally, because my 2 stars went down for 40-some games and 30-some games. But it's fair for people to say, hey, they probably overachieved. But I can't say that because, we missing Suggs for a portion of the season. We missing Mo Wagner for a portion of the season. When it was going into November, Orlando was a 4th seed in the East. So I don't know. It could have had played its way out when we was fully healthy. I don't know. But it's one of those, do our management believe that do we need to move our chips in now for one of those prospects that is offensive talented and can get you there offensively and get you a bucket whenever you need one? Do they feel like it's time to do that and do you get rid of your assets in either Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, or some picks?
And do the Magic – go ahead, Griffin.
Yeah, just a quick question. Who would you prefer out of those 2 if you had to get rid of one?
Me personally, I would keep Anthony Black because he's been healthy.
Yep.
We already done paid Suggs. So if I had to make a choice, which I hate to lose Suggs because he is the heartbeat of this team, if I had to make that hard choice, I'm keeping Anthony Black.
And who is a shit or get off the pot player on the Orlando Magic? Do the Orlando Magic have a player who you're kind of waiting on where it's like, are we trading this guy or is he contributing for the lineup? What is he doing? Like, look at a guy like Jonathan Isaac. I know he's been big defensively for the Magic this year, but I kind of look at him and go, what's up with his minutes? Why don't they play him more? Is he going to be utilized somewhere else better? Is he going to be utilized better in the Orlando lineup? But who's a player within the Orlando Magic lineup that's kind of that in-between player of, is he a trade chip or is he an actual guy that we want around for a long time?
I'm glad you asked me this question because a lot of Magic Twitter is on, and they're going to laugh when they see this segment here. We call him PTO, and that go by Gary Harris. Pay time off Gary Harris. Why are you still on my roster? Why are you still here? You come and dress in these nice uniforms. You look flash. You look great. The shoes look on point. You come and play whenever you want to. We paid you. Gary Harris, get off my team, man. So Gary Harris is literally drive me nuts sometimes. At some point, it was KCP because we pay him all this money, but he came back on there in the season, started hitting these 3-point shots. Like, what we paid you for? Jonathan Isaac, he's kind of that weird miss where he gained some weight. He was told to put on some weight so he could play against bigger players, and he was a step slow, and now he's kind of slimming down a little bit. So there's a lot of question around J.I., but it's between Gary Harris and KCP. But KCP has kind of been playing well now, so it's all Gary Harris that we like. What are you here for, bro?
I can't stand Gary Harris. I can't.
It's to make the Aaron Gordon trade look good, right? I mean, it's like it's like, hey, we got Gary Harris. Like, he was on the Magic for half a decade. It's like, at least we got Gary Harris for Aaron Gordon and what he's doing right now.
We got the draft pick from the Nuggets. That's our best asset from them. We got the draft pick.
It's always the draft picks too. Like the Vucevic trade. Basically, you guys got Franz Wagner out of that trade.
Yep, Franz and Jet Howard was part of those draft picks. And then for Gary Harris, RJ Hampton was part of that trade too. And RJ Hampton is out the league. He's been caught in domestic violence charges. So his career really just took a downfall, man.
He's the one player in that draft who was like, oh, anybody could steal RJ Hampton late. And everybody there, the Celtics had the 14th pick in that draft. I believe it was 2020. And everybody was thinking, oh, RJ Hampton 14. And then obviously that didn't happen and then just fell off from there. But go ahead, Griffin.
was a G League legend for a little bit though. I saw him a couple.
Oh
times
yeah, we got to disclaim this. Griffin, our G League guy, up in Portland, Maine. So
Yeah.
Maine Celtics coverage up there.
Outside of the
Okay.
Expo right now, actually. Outside the Expo.
Nice,
right
man.
now. Yeah.
That's
Which-
awesome. What? Orlando
Didn't
got
we-
a G League, and they was in the championship and lost to the Stockholm Kings.
I was just saying that the
thought
Lakeland Magic just defeated the Maine. Griffin, you were there, were you not?
Don't bring it up.
I don't want
You
to
didn't
talk
want
about
to say it.
Hey, don't feel bad, Matt.
I have permission to say a cool story on here.
Yeah, go for it.
I feel like I said it on a podcast, but I went to one of the games versus, is it the Asiago? It's not Asiago.
Oh
Yeah,
no, it's not
I know.
Lakeland anymore. I called them Lakeland.
Yeah, Osceola Magic.
Osceola, however you say it, Magic. But we faced them in Maine just before playoffs, and it was Jay Scrubb and Mac McClung and Javante Smart. Is that how you say his name? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but they were all going at it, and Smart would hit a three and have a rifle, and Jay Scrubb would hit a three and go bow bow. It was crazy. But I was gonna wait and say this on a podcast because we'll have a person there for the Maine Celtics on it. But I guess there was a fight that broke out. Like, so the locker room going down to it, you go down the same stairs and you go in locker rooms because you guys can't see it from here, but the Expo is small. It's a small brick building. But anyways, they were going down those stairs, and I guess a brawl broke out between the players, which is crazy. And yeah, Mac McClung there and all of them just getting into it on the stairs. So I don't want to talk about them losing. You know, that's you guys won. At least you guys won the G League competition, though. You know, like that was.
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story. Y'all appreciate this. Y'all from Massachusetts, so Miss, I know you're trying to pronounce Osceola, so I'm gonna tell you a story. When I used to work at in the Native Mall, so I was like going to Florida City, and I was trying to go like, hey man, I'm gonna go down here and check out something in Worcester and go check that out. And he's like, what you call it? Like, it's Worcester, right? No, it's Worcester. I said, what? I said, how you get this word? I literally look it up. It's Worcester. Like, no, it's Worcester. And I'm getting ragged on. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Two can play this game. So I'll go to my phone. I look up the word. And in Osceola, there's a city that starts with a K. Hey, y'all know where next to Orlando, the city starts with a K?
I don't.
Okay. So the word.
Wait. Oh, okay. I actually, yeah. I know what you're talking about. But
you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So anyways, I was like, okay. So I pulled the word. I said, pronounce it. It was like, it's Kissimmee. No, it's Kissimmee. Well, how did that make sense? It's like Kissimmee. The same thing with how you get Worcester from Worcester. How did that make sense? But they so when I moved to Boston for like the first 3 months, they ragged on me, but I'm like, okay, well, I got y'all with Kissimmee. So I just want to make sure you guys know y'all said Osceola. So one of my fun Boston stories.
I can't.
That was perfect.
I
We have Ian on our program here. He's from Worcester, so he definitely, this segment right here, it's like he probably knows all about it.
Yeah.
I'm from this city. I'm from a small town right next to Haverhill in Mass. So it's like 35-40 minutes north of Boston. Everyone always calls Haverhill Haverhill. So it's like, all these areas here in Mass that everyone screws up the pronunciations on, which is hilarious. I wanted to take us back to this game one of this series heading into game two, where we had Ryan on last night. We had Philip on this morning, and the main consensus with where this game shifted was, as you talked about earlier with the third quarter, for me watching it, being there in person too, it was just seeing the Celtics play a lot faster and play with a faster pace in that third quarter. So we got up 38 shots in the whole first half, and we got up 24 shots alone in that third quarter. And also there's the stat too that's been going around where the Celtics beat the Magic in the fast break points 26-4. There's been a lot of interesting dialogue from the Magic in these last couple of days where Corey Joseph said during practice yesterday that they're going to play faster. Jamal Mosley said he wants everyone to come running out of the gate after getting stops defensively and attack the rim. Do you think the Magic will play fast to start the game tomorrow? Do you think they can play fast for a whole 48 minutes? Because that's going to be quite the philosophy change for a team like the Boston Celtics. We were dead last, both of us, in pace in the regular season.
Yeah, which is crazy that they got speed at the pace, and these are the two slowest teams that's playing, and they saying speed at the pace. Orlando can get in a little bit of trouble when they speed at the pace, so they just got to be careful with that. They do rebound the ball well enough to do that. Even with the rebounds, I did see that it was fairly close, 41-42. So it wasn't like a disparity in rebounds there. It was more in them on the offensive rebounds where Orlando just got a lot of offensive rebounds, just didn't put anything back. To me, I get it to a standpoint, getting your offense set quicker. You can probably get mismatches and probably catch Paulo in front on some smaller guys and take advantage of that. So, yeah, you probably can get some cross matches that you can take advantage of that. But Orlando, at the end of the day, pretty much has just got to make sure that, honestly, to me, how I would do it is just make sure, get to the free throw line, set your defense up, which is a top 3 defensive team in the league. And then at times, pick your pace, run it, find good shots. And Orlando at times didn't trust the pass. This has been mostly who's always talking about trust the pass. And our assists 17, and then our turnovers 15. That's a horrible assist to turnover ratio that set Orlando up for failure. So one thing they want to do, they push the pace. You can't turn the ball over 15 times against this Celtics team, who is a very opportunistic team in the fast break and can hit shooters. And they run on a break to shoot threes. They run on a break to shoot 3. They don't go for layups. They run on a break to shoot 3. So if they can get that under control, and if they get these offensive rebounds, find a way to get some points in the paint, and our bench just got to give a post. You can't have 2-year star players that's in double digits and all the rest of your players in single digits. So it's really just on them to nail it in and really try to irritate Boston from that standpoint and just get to the free throw line. Slow the game down in spurts, and then in spurts. And spurts, me, I would speed it up, but I wouldn't go listen to the wall because Orlando, they'll do that. We'll probably have about 21, 22 turnovers, and it's going to be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I have to say this, though. I do have a question, though, going into tomorrow's game. So, obviously, the Boston Celtics were having a lot of trouble getting a rebound earlier in that game. I do have to say, you guys, it looked impossible. A few possessions, like they were, when Luke Cornett hits the volleyball rebounds, I hate those. I have to say, I do hate the Luke volleyball hits.
How do you hate those, Griffin? Luke Cornett's volleyball, put that like what rebounds?
No, because he does miss it a lot. Those volleyball hits, and then it's like, are we playing volleyball or basketball here? Come on, I do have to say that. But you guys saw it in that first quarter. Am I wrong? Was there a lot of struggles from the Boston Celtics with rebounds? I feel like there was earlier in the game, but like, what do you expect just from you guys already kind of answered my question, but just coming off of that loss, David already pretty much asked it, but do you think that's a game that you guys could win, game 2, or where do you think it's going to be in the series if you guys end up winning a game? Do you think it's tomorrow, or what do you think? I don't even know why I came up with a volleyball hit. I was just frustrated. Yeah. I got to get my anger out,
It's crazy that you mentioned that because, I'm just basing it because this is the team that pretty much similar from last year that compared to this year that I'm going to use, that the role players play better in Orlando. They did against Cleveland. They went bananas. They went nuts. Even Franz went crazy at home. To get one in Boston is going to be extremely tough. It's a tough place to play. This is why I want to play. Listen, Orlando needs this crowd. Those basketball players need that crowd, needs the way that y'all play, how aggressive that crowd can be. Y'all are loud. Y'all are loud. We heard y'all quiet playing at that watch party. They need that. So if we still want, it's really just got to be, they got to make sure they slow down the turnovers. The free throws, they can't have 11 free throws. Orlando usually get about 18, 19 free throws around that. Without me kind of looking it up, but I know they get more than 11 free throws a game. They got to get more to the line and slow the game down a little bit and set their defense up because they play in the high court pretty well. But once you start getting on the move, Jason Tatum is going to the rim. We're blitzing. We're overthinking. Anthony Black has not been in this position before. And then guess what? Derek White is right over in the corner. Splash. So for the most part, to me, we just got to make sure win the rebound battle, get to the free throw line, pick your spots to speed up the offense. But You never know, man. If Orlando can hit 15, 16 threes, they're in the game. But they go to this like 10-11 against a team that is the best shooting three-point team. You have guys that are just flamethrowers all over the court. I know we guard the three very well. And we can hold y'all to 16 threes and we can get about 14 threes. Who knows? We could be in the ball game. But Orlando's just got to make sure that, hey, clean up these turnovers, trust the pass. If the shot's there, take it. I know we're not the best shooting team in the world, but if the shot's there, take it, get back on defense and set up, and just go from there.
And talking about some players on the Orlando Magic shifting back to that perspective, and there are a lot of Anthonys on the Orlando roster. Anthony Black we talked about here today, but another player, Cole Anthony, is kind of a polarizing player within the NBA community and Orlando Magic community. What level of value does Cole Anthony hold within the Orlando Magic community, whether it's the fan space or I think the front office space or ownership with the Orlando Magic? What level of value does Cole Anthony have within the organization as a player?
Cole Anthony is my favorite player in the Magic. I know I haven't talked much about him on the show, but he hasn't done anything in game one, so that's why I'm not going to talk much about him. But the value that Cole can bring, he's literally someone else besides Paulo in front that can get to the rim and drive. We don't have many of those players on that roster that can drive. Even at points, he drive better than Suggs. Mo Wagner from a post position, he's got some moves that he can drive. Cole Anthony, besides our two stars, is the only one that can get to the basket. So at some point, he needs to figure out to get to the basket, use his offensive skills, and just play defense. And for his position, Cole is a great rebounder for a guard. He's 6'3" and can rebound the ball very well. The Orlando Magic community with Cole Anthony is a very mixed opinions with Cole Anthony. I don't know what it is with him. I think 50-50. Some love the guy, some ready to trade him. But I love the guy because he's hard. He shows love to the community. And I think he just speaks his mind sometimes. That probably rub fans the wrong way. But you need a guy like that. You need a guy like that to put his chest on his sleeve. And he's been dealing with some stuff. I'm not making excuses for him. But Cole Anthony, at some point, if we can get a game against Boston, he's going to be the one to step up and get us some points and be able to drive to the basket and give Paulo and Franz a little bit of break driving to the rim. So Cole Anthony, to my part, be honest, if we want to be playing position.
Oh, I think we lost him really quick. So just to cover it up, how are you guys doing today? You guys ready for some playoff basketball tomorrow?
Of course, we're ready for some playoff basketball tomorrow. I like the 2 days off, I will say, in between for all this content creation. But yeah, the playoff atmosphere, the TD Garden, always enjoyable day. Like I'm seeing all these. We have him back.
We got him back.
I'm gonna finish this point real quick. See all these other teams in the playoffs having fun on these other nights. It's like I'm ready for Celtics basketball.
I agree.
I'm sure Cortez, you're ready for Magic basketball again too. But anyway, to further on your point there.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying Cole he just got to be that piece to just make sure if we can get someone else to drive to the basket and get us some points, it's there. To y'all point about enjoying basketball, I got good weather on my patio. I got some neutrals I'm gonna crack open and probably throw something in the smoker and just enjoy watching basketball. So at this time of the year, I know we're in a series, but a basketball fan, which they said NBA opening week for NBA playoffs, is the highest it's ever been. So it's just cool to see that it's, the engagement among the fans is fantastic. So
I want to come over to your place for some playoff. Well, I'll have the Celtics gear on. You got the Magic gear on. That sounds like a good environment. I'm down for that.
Come by, brother, man. I'll throw some ribs on the grill.
I was like, hey, Griffin heard about the ribs. Like,
I know. I'm just, it's nice here in Maine right now, but usually the weather's like, around this time. So, in some more, I'm down. I'm on the way. I'll get my flight. I'll
say, Griffin, though, it's like the humidity of Florida, cannot underestimate it sometimes. And especially like right now, this time of year, getting to that point, it's, it's humid down there. But just talking about the Orlando Magic and their roster, we talked about Cole Anthony. Some people are ready to trade him. Some people, think he's a very integral part of the Magic team. But if there was any player on this roster or any position on this roster that needed to be upgraded, what would that player position be right now?
It's got to be a guard. We got to figure out. I know y'all mentioned LaMelo, Ja Morant. We need a guard that can pretty much score. Like a scoring point guard is what we need. So someone like a Kobe White, this is like a minimum level there that can kind of fit in with Paulo and Franz, or we got those two guys that can handle the ball pretty well. Give me a point guard with a scoring mentality, and then you'll see how much it really opens up for Paulo and Franz and pretty much the rest of the team, in my opinion, to kind of take us a little bit to the next level.
So I have a fun little question. All right. This one we kind of said earlier, but if you had to do with the Celtics, like a trade, a player swap, same skill level base, who would it be for the Magic and who would you trade for the Celtics? It could be any player on the roster, but for example, if you were to give up Banchero, it would have to be Tatum. So what would that switch be? What would you do? It's a fun little one. I just thought I would want to know.
So because we're so deficient at guard, I probably would try to get a Drew Holiday over here, and then probably.
Oh, who would you guys do while we're waiting? Who would you guys do?
Go ahead, David. I have my answer right now. I guess I'll go first. David's thinking. I think Derek White on the Magic would be definitely interesting.
Who would
you
you
have
get?
that facilitator there. You have somebody defensively who matches or who molds well with what the Magic have going there. Like if you see, that's the whole thing about bringing in a guy like Trae Young. It's like the Magic hang their hats on defense. Why would they bring in a guy who doesn't defend, right? Like that would be the whole basis of that. So I'd say somebody like Derek White potentially, and then for the Celtics, it's like, who could you get it for equal value of White? It's like, could you Suggs? It's like, could you get Suggs? Like, we have him back here. Do we? Our internet? Are we good? We're good.
Oh,
we're good. We're good. We're just we're covering up the question there, but go ahead, Cortez.
Oh yeah, make it quick. I don't know what's up with my internet, but so I said Drew Holiday, and I probably do a KCP and a draft pick and see how because I think with him, y'all got the best 3-point shoot in the league. He's not a volume 3-point shooter. He's also a defender. So I'll probably just do that with a draft pick and try to get Drew Holiday from you guys.
I have to disagree. I don't think that's even. But all right, I like the draft. I like the draft pick.
I feel like I don't know, Griffin. I feel like KCP for Drew Holiday, like KCP paid a lot of money last summer by the Magic for a reason.
Okay,
like,
I'll say money.
I personally don't think I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Cortez, but I don't think KCP has actually reached his full potential in Orlando.
No.
Because when he was on the Denver Nuggets, KCP was 100% a player that I looked at and went, you want that player on every single team in the NBA. Every franchise wants a player like that. Somebody who can create a little bit. They shoot the 3 ball at a high percentage. They defend multiple positions, and they're kind of that in the background type of player, always there to hit a big shot, but they're not necessarily inserted into the game like a star player like Tatum or Brown or anybody else out there that takes more of the usage percentage out of the team. It's like KCP and Drew Holiday. I could definitely see that swap going between the Magic and the Celtics.
And
being
here's my thought.
Equal.
Here's my thought process too. Like, imagine adding KCP to a top 5 offense, and then Drew Holiday's going down to a bottom 5 offense. We're asking him to do a little bit more, but I just feel like I probably just the way he built up and he can defend and he can shoot and he can handle the point guard and let Suggs play out 2 instead of Suggs trying to play the 1 and then KCP playing the 2. It's probably why I would do that trade, because Drew can play the 1.
And you're getting, I feel like in that value, like with the Magic, I feel that would bring back more so Milwaukee Drew Holiday, who could give you like 25 points on the night. I feel like with him in Boston, he doesn't need to score that. You guys see he's more than capable of scoring that, but he doesn't need to with this Boston squad. Like I'm sure Holiday, if he went out there, he could have NBA takeover on, he could go out there and give us some buckets for sure, but he doesn't. The fact is he doesn't need to. Here we want him to pass and defend. That's his main priorities here, and then get a corner
Absolutely.
3 up.
Absolutely.
Who would you say, David? for
What's
that.
up?
That who would you say for
David,
that?
you got to answer this too, because
I gotta
we
answer
we were left on a cliff. We were like, got you thinking.
It's a tough one. I gotta, in terms of like equal value, it's tough for me. Like this is where I gotta grow as like a fan of the NBA. Like I'm trying to learn more about the other teams. Like I've become a sicko for the Celtics the last couple of years. I've watched all 82 games this year. I watched all 101 last year. But Peyton Pritchard, I mean, I would like to see Pritchard on the Magic maybe, and then from the Magic for us. I mean, maybe just like a. We talked with Philip about him earlier. This is just a random guy, but Corey Joseph. It seems like he's held in high regard from some people in the Magic community. Just I don't know, just mix it up. Like I honestly don't have a great answer to this question, but those are like
I would love for you to give us Kojo for Peyton Pritchard. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I was gonna say that one would be the Magic. They pick up. That's like a Luka trade for the role players. It's like, wait, you're giving us who for who?
Wait, can I give one? Yeah, and you got to tell me if this is out of the realm or not. I'm going Jaylen Brown for Pablo Banchero. Is that fair? Do you think that's a fair swap?
Not for the not for the Magic. No, I was gonna say, hey, let's get a little bit younger. Tatum's 27, Banchero, he's like 23. It's like, hey, let's just do that.
All right, fine.
You were saying Jaylen Brown, like what?
What if I do a 2-for-1? What if I give up KP and Brown?
No. We need like, if you give up KP and Brown, it's like we need Banchero and like, can you give us like Cole Anthony and I don't know. I feel like we're in a real trade talk all of a sudden right now.
I need 8 years of this guy. I need 8 years of this guy.
Wait. You gotta bring that back up.
Oh, hold on. I got 2 of them. So hold up. There it is. Boogie and the Beast,
nice.
baby.
Boogie and the Beast.
That's fire.
That is giving away.
We're gonna haunt the Boston Celtics in a few years.
Which is crazy. You know what? They gave these away at the Celtics Magic game down here. So some Celtics fans got a Paolo Banchero bobblehead doll.
I would take it as long as that Magic song wasn't played. I would take it. As long as that Magic. So like I said, that Magic song's gone for, once the series wraps up, we could bring it back. We could bring back the Celtics version of it. But right now, not even thinking about it. It's gone. It doesn't exist to me.
Oh man, I'm gonna play it loud for you when I get off this call.
Heck no! I'm not listening. My ears are closed. You
already know it's in your head, Griffin. It's too catchy not to be right now.
No, I'm not listening. Not till the playoffs over. I'm not. I won't even tempt myself to hear it. I won't even. If I swear, if I wake up on TikTok and I see that stupid song. Now you guys are making me think about it. We gotta stop. I'm about to go to the Sea Dogs. I'll be listening to Sweet Caroline. All right.
There you go. That's a good song too.
Getting that off my head.
Song in Massachusetts.
Well, I was like, do Magic fans like? Does Crazy Train hit the same, or it's like I guess not. It's like Crazy Train just doesn't hit the same around the league. It's like that's. No. It's always like you know what I'm talking about, David. You know what I'm talking about, Griffin. You go into the games, Crazy Train comes on, Ozzy Osbourne's like, oh, it's time to play Celtics basketball. It's like
or some
doesn't resonate around the league.
Shipping out the Boston, some Dropkick Murphys.
Right.
Yeah, that I'll be in any sport. Like I'll be watching a Maine Celtics game, Portland Sea Dogs, and even any baseball, college, high school. They play that, and I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready to watch some sports. I'm ready. That's my, I think that's a good song to get you hyped up for sure.
Boston and St. Patty's Day, top 2-3 event. It's just different up there.
Yeah, it is. You had World of T-shirts up here, I guess, in Boston. I wasn't there, but I guess that was eventful.
Yeah.
But bleed green.
100%.
For some of us here. One last question for you. What's your favorite memory as a Magic fan?
My favorite memory was definitely when we beat LeBron James, and I know it was 2009. I mean, they already had just signs and promos for LeBron James versus Kobe Bryant. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But as I tell people, matchups are a thing. We got by Boston because y'all missing KG. We didn't match up well against Boston in 2008, 2009. But we match up well against Cleveland. We have Rashard Lewis and you had Hito Turkoglu that can spread out. Like, once again, these 6'10" wings that would just spread the floor.
They're kind of ahead of their time, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, basically they kind of orchestrated like this whole like shooting the ball and getting into it. So it's a shame that we didn't get a ring for it, but we kind of helped usher that in a little bit. But that just matching up against the Cavs, and they still play this LeBron buzzer beater to this day. But I'm like, who won the series, man? Who won the series? And I get called crazy for this, and you can call me crazy for this too. Y'all might, because I know Lakers. Y'all, yeah. Listen, I can't stand Lakers because of the whole Shaq thing. So Lakers, Heat, those are my two most hated teams because Shaq went there won a ring. So when Shaq went to go run a ring, I don't like those franchises. But
total agreement there, by the way. Lakers, Heat, 100%.
Yeah, Warriors.
So
I
get them
can't
out of
stand
here.
the Warriors.
they're a little bit
Sixers.
annoying sometimes too. Yeah. But I just think with my memory with them and we're getting there, getting to the finals. And if we would have had Jameer Nelson healthy, because Jameer Nelson torched the Lakers that year, was one of the only guards that was averaging 50, 40, 90. Him and Tony Parker was the
Nelson.
Yeah, Zach. And I feel like that Lakers team, they had a problem with scoring point guards. And Jameer Nelson wasn't healthy. But a lot of Matter fans, that's still argument to this day, is Rayford Austin versus Jameer Nelson. That's still a thing. A decade later, they're still arguing about Jameer Nelson closing game. So that's just my 2 cents on it. But that's one of my favorite memories, that whole run and just taking out LeBron and going up there and getting one against the Lakers. And hopefully we can make some more memories with these two stars that's in the Magic now.
Alrighty. Well, that is going to do it for this conversation. Cortez, thank you again for coming on. We had a lot of laughs. This is a good way for, a Magic fan and a bunch of Celtics fans to come together and talk some hoops. So we really appreciate your time here. We here at Celtics Talk Weekly have been putting together a ton of content for you guys on these off days. We're talking all things Celtics, all things Magic too, all things Magic now, all things Magic in the future. So we hope you guys enjoy all this content in these off days during this playoff series. We will have more off day content coming for you soon with some more special guests coming on the program. But that is going to do it for us for now on this show. Alongside my two co-hosts, we have Seamus, we have Griffin, we have Cortez again as a special guest. I'm David. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching.